Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Perafilozof City Skylines videos. In this episode I'm going to continue building up the city that I've called Bedrock, the city on the hard mode in which I plan to reach 1 million population. You will remember that this is the old part of the city, which has the low density areas, some forestry industry, some generic industry that is up here, some agriculture, and the rest are offices instead of the industry. I had started switching offices for industry to reduce the number of the vehicles coming in and going, exporting and importing goods. Same reason why I have these two cargo train stations. I think I've reached almost the end of the area where I want offices instead of the forestry industry. That would be a little bit more here, and then I'm pretty much done with switching forestry for industry, the forestry industry for offices. These areas here are going to stay empty because the road area isn't the best, and it's kind of because the city grew organically as stuff was necessary to be built, especially because I started over here at the beginning, so this might not look the best, but that is why this new area is gonna look much prettier and have much better zoning. So up here they have yet to move in, all of them, but I do have a healthy demand for everything. Although before I start building up more areas, I will need to add the services. What I've been thinking is to have the services here on this middle part, and maybe some other services up here depending on their area of effect and their coverage. Because I don't want this area here to be wasted, I'm going to take a road through here, and now see, depending on where do I need to put a clinic to have good coverage for all the areas. So if a clinic were to go up here, this area over here would not have good coverage. If it were to go here, that would be excellent coverage. So the clinic can go in here. The crematorium, I believe, can go all the way up here because it has a large area of effect. Maybe even on the next street, or maybe up here somewhere. And then the police department the same, because it also has a high area that can cover. Elementary schools do not have a large area of effect, so they would have to be very close to these areas. For example, here I could go on the side because here I won't have much residential, while I will have here, although if I put it on the side it's probably not going to have good coverage up here. But considering how big these areas are, one elementary school isn't gonna be enough, so I might as well build one here and then later on another one on this side for this area. So elementary school here, the police station, like I said, a bit later. The fire station, I think I'm going to use it instead of the firehouses because they have such small areas of effect. If you look at here, if I were to go up here, I would already start losing the area of effect, although for some reason it seems to give a good area of effect even up here. Oh, I see, because it's a centered position compared to over here. I think I am going to stay. But then again, industry has really a large problems with fire coverage. If you look over here, you see that this area over here is pretty green, but everything else looks a bit darker, and when you get closer to the industry they all look red unless they have a firehouse right next to them like this. So because of that fire hazard, it may be better to build a fire station after all. But because that would go a bit further down here, down the line, I would have to put it over here, like so. Same thing for the high school, it has a large effect, so it should go up here. The police station as well does have good coverage. And I believe that would leave just the crematorium. Yep. Alright, I think I have everything covered then. Except that I did not turn on the incineration plant to get the garbage. Alright, now that that's done, those would be the services, the parks. I need those as well. I'm thinking a nice large park here. Like this. Centered here, and then smaller parks on the edges like this. to have better coverage. Why did I not draw this street down? There we go. Alright, power is connected. I do have plenty of power, plenty of water. Everything is connected like this. Now I just need to add more zoning here for the power to translate. Now I did forget to do one thing here, and that was to instead of having generic industry, which I don't want to have, I want to have forestry industry. So I need to first create a forestry area like this, a district that's gonna go right next to the road like this. Mark it as forestry and then plant some trees. Like this. And now when I have more industry zoned, it's gonna be forestry industry and not generic industry, which would pollute too much to be so close to the other areas like the commercial, the offices, and the residential areas. Alright, for high density commercial, and now offices, and then the rest is residential. Alright, let the game play. This should draw the power to these buildings. As for these up here, well, if I want to draw power to them, I will have to build something to connect that power through here. I could use a bus depot, that's for sure. If I want to grow my offices and industry, they do require the extra service that the buses provide, and this is a high density area, so a bus station would be a good thing to reduce the traffic. And it should also connect everything with the power. Alright, I should probably go to speed 2, speed this up. There we go, the generic industry went down so that the forestry industry can go up. I do have a lot of demand, so I might as well build up the streets that go parallel to these. And build some industry here as well. Although I could just fill the rest of this zone as well. Don't have to go up if I can go to the side. But let's wait for this area to fill up. How is my services and everything else coverage? Let's see, schools, good coverage. High schools, good coverage. Health, good coverage. Some noise pollution, as expected. Fire safety, good coverage. Crime safety, good coverage. And that would be pretty much everything. One thing that I forgot is I might as well turn off the bus depot for now if I'm not using it. Although if I'm using it to transfer power, what's gonna happen if I turn it off? Is it gonna stop transferring power? Nope, it still transfers power. Excellent. I don't need it for now because I'm not building any bus stops yet, so no need to lose money over it. My income, whoa, my income is very low. I need to get more residential areas. Well, the income went down because I have far more expenses now for the services, because I did increase the number of them. I mean, look at this, 2,160, 660, 700, 900, 500, 300, another 200. So yeah, it is expected for my income to drop, but it will go up as soon as these areas get filled up with more buildings. Here we go. I can already get more forestry industry here, then some high density commercial, offices, and more residential areas. Now, if I'm going to have residential areas so close to the highway, I may want to upgrade the highway to the highway with sound barriers. Let's see how much is that gonna cost me. Oh, not too much. That should reduce the amount of noise pollution that's gonna be close to these buildings. There is gonna be some pollution from the commercial areas and the industry, but not much can be done about that. Did the offices grow up here? Yes, they did, instead of the forestry industry. There is this area here that I could use for forestry industry. I'm not entirely sure. Do I have the workers for it? But I think this part of the city could use some more industry. One place I could have more people living though is through here in these areas. Now these areas are probably gonna suffer from some sound pollution as well. Yep. So if I want them to not complain too much, I should upgrade these roads a little bit as well. There we go. How am I with power? I am still 20 or 30 megawatts extra power compared to the amount that I'm using. These areas look to be working pretty well. How are we growing here? Well, still need more of the high density residential to be filled up before I continue. The pollution is gonna grow steadily until it takes up this entire area. If I want to get rid of these buildings here, I might as well do this, and then I can unzone this. I will use this spot for the solar power plants once I unlock it. Same thing with this part of the city. These areas here where I have pollution and wouldn't be able to place anything, I can use them to get a spot for a solar power plant. I'm waiting for the landfill sites to be emptied completely so that I can bulldoze them. This one filled up completely. I might as well turn it off while I'm waiting for this one to empty so that I can empty this one next. This one should be close, it's at 10%, and this one is emptied, so I'm going to turn it off and bulldoze it. Whoa, what's up with the power? What just happened? Seriously, what is going on? Are they losing power? Oh, wait. Oh, right. The landfill was the one thing that was carrying the power from this side of the city to this one. So I better get a new connection. There we go. That should bring the power back online. Very annoying when something like that happens. Let's go. There we go. Power back on. More burned down buildings. So annoying that the services go from one part of the city to the other one instead of staying in their part, and then they can come back and take care of burning down buildings. This design does have that problem with the services going from one area of the city into the other one. I'm not sure how would I even fix that, because take a look here. For example, if we find, I think I showed you this in one of my previous episodes. Oh, here's one. Here's the server's vehicle. It comes from the medical clinic here in this part of the city, but it's gonna go to the high school in this part of the city. Why, when the coverage from a clinic is just this big, why does it go to the other part of the city? It's very annoying, and it does not fit well to my design, where I do not plan for people to go from this side of the city into this one. Very annoying that that happens, and the services are creating a problem for me for this design. Alright, has this area expanded? Yes, it has. Almost filled everything. The demand did go down a little bit. I still have a good amount of power. I had yet to turn off the other coal power plant. I did turn off this one, but I have yet to turn off this one. I am waiting for the solar power plants, and then I will be able to turn them off. How's my income? A bit higher now that I have more of these areas. One thing that I wanted to do is, now that I have so many incinerators that I have no problem getting rid of the trash, is to turn off the policy for recycling and see how much will that increase my income. I was at around 6,400 on the income, and I want to see if that's going to increase my income. I mean, I'm already paying like 16,500 for the services. What's... oh right, these things are not covering these areas completely. I'm already paying 16,500 for the utility for garbage disposal, so why not use the budget properly and have the utility buildings get rid of the trash? Why would I need to spend more on the recycling policies? Do I have the recycling policies anywhere else? I do not believe so. But I will do an area here that's gonna be a district for residential areas. That would be about here. And then connect these areas here as well. And in this district, I'm going to use the pet ban to ban pets in high rises and reduce the amount of garbage that's creating. I'm gonna try and see if I can go with just 2 incineration plants per this node here on the edges, because I don't want to be paying that much for the utility that gets rid of trash, the garbage utilities, because this is a huge amount to be paying for. So my income is now up to 71,000 from 68,000 and a half, so I've earned around 2,500. So that was actually a good idea to stop using the recycling policy and get some extra money that way. Alright, is it time to expand? I do have the power, I do have the water, everything is covered with services. These guys, well, they haven't yet filled up all these areas, but I do have the demand for industry and commercial, and I think once that demand is reduced, I will get more demand for residential areas. So I might as well get more of the forestry industry going on here. Alright, now that these areas are gonna go up, they are going to require some high density commercial areas as well. So let's go with that next. High density commercial, check. And over here I can continue with the forestry. And then some high density commercial as well. Now I believe that will lead to a rise in the residential demand, so I will just ignore these 4 areas here that I will use for the offices and build up some more residential areas from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then residential areas. Need to upgrade these roads now with sound barriers. There we go. As for park coverage, this area should have good park coverage for now. This is interesting. Why is this area so much better covered with parks than this area? Huh. What's the difference in price? 1,250? 4,000. Oh, I see. So if I were to bulldoze this one and use this one instead, so a more expensive parks gives way better coverage, it seems. Well, it's kind of logical. The only problem is it doesn't really show you that in any way. It just shows you by the price. So I guess that requires some actual testing before you can figure out that that's actually helping that way. My income should start rising now more and more, that I have more and more zones. Oh, there we go, solar power plants, finally. I was hoping that that would happen. Let's go and turn off the other coal power plant. Go over here in the corner. Now we'll need to do this a little. Although this is a corner where I have some of the areas that are residential, maybe better to put the solar power plant here in the industrial area. So let's destroy these roads. There. Now this thing is going to be producing 160 megawatts for a price tag of 1,500. It's even more cost efficient than the advanced wind turbines. Now I will have a lot of extra power, so I can turn off some of the advanced wind turbines. Let's see, off, 2, 3, 4. Let's see the power now. 346 out of 400, still can turn off a few. Let's see now. 345, 347 out of 366 megawatts. Excellent. I do have some more demand. I could probably keep zoning these areas. I could get the offices first to fill up the industry's need. And from here, some more residential areas. There we go. This is the new residential district, and into which I will also use the pet ban policy to stop them from accumulating too much garbage. But how many elementary schools am I going to need here? This one is already filled up, and the elementary school area of effect does seem to be non-existent here. So yes, as I said previously, there is going to be a need for more elementary schools. How's the park coverage? Excellent. Alright, these areas seem to be filling up quite nicely. I know I very rarely go into these neighborhoods when I do my Let's Plays, and I just figured that out after like 15 videos, so I wanted to give you a nice overview of how these areas look like from the ground level, and it looks awesome. I mean, the buildings might be repetitive, but you can expect modders to build a lot more of them, and there to be different as the game grows in volume and we get more DLCs, free DLCs, and people just modding for better looking cities. This is gonna look amazing once I get like all the way up there. But to get all the way up there, I will probably need to start zoning more. Well, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3. So I can do 3 more residential zones. Okay, then high density commercial, some offices, and then the residential areas. Same over here. Alright, I believe that would be everything from this area. I should check, do my services now cover everything? Let's see, crematoriums are covering everything, the one clinic covers everything, the fire station has no problem covering everything, the police station looks good, education, well, the elementaries seem to have a problem covering these areas, but I think a next one that goes over here will be able to cover the rest of the areas without any issues. Maybe even if I were to place it here, it would still cover everything. Why don't you have power? Whoa! I need more power. Alright, the spot is filled. This spot needs to be fixed, but for that I would need to buy this area, so won't touch that one. There's not enough room here, although maybe I could place it here, but I guess this area looks good enough. Could have it here. I'll just see how much space does it need. So if I want it over here, need to delete this road. Come on. There. That's done. This can be connected down here. Alright, now this is going to create way more power than I actually need. So I can turn off these two, I can bulldoze now. Excellent. And I can turn off more of these. Alright, how much power is that gonna be? Still way more than I need. Turn off these two. How much power is it now? 368 out of 367 out of 414. Alright, is this growing? Yes, very nicely. Have I reached the end of the water supply? Yes, I have. I need new pipes if I plan to grow further, and I do. These areas seem to be covered pretty well by this incinerator. The elementary school, both of them are at maximum capacity. It is expected. As you can see, if I click on a building that's level 2 or 3, these are 16 households, and you see there's a lot of people to educate just in one building. So you can imagine just how many elementary schools do you need. Now, one thing that I haven't played around much, which I plan to, is the policies from city planning that say small business enthusiast. Now this thing does say that it produces an upkeep per building, but it also says that it doubles their sales. Now my question is, does this doubling of sales influences the amount of money that I get from taxes, or does it influences the amount of taxes I can tax the commercial areas and then have them taxed more because they will be selling more. Their happiness is at the moment 74%. The offices are at 95 and industry is at 98. Why would they not then increase their taxes if they're that happy? Let's say up to 12% for industry and offices. I mean, if they're that happy, why not tax them more? Didn't the developers say if they're very happy, you can tax them more? And their happiness dropped a little bit because I taxed them more. But why shouldn't I tax them when they're that happy? I didn't even drop their happiness that much. Why is there a name here with no area? Oh, here we go. It's fixed itself up. So the policy that I will use here is the big business benefactor, which means that their sales are gonna double, but it will cost me an upkeep. Now I want to see if that is going to raise either their happiness, so their happiness is at 75% at the moment, or is it gonna increase the amount of taxes that I seem to get from them. So we are at 2000 for high density and their happiness is 75%. So what happens if I institute this? Is their happiness gonna go up? Nothing yet. Still at 74%. Is it gonna cost me? Yes, this is gonna rise a little bit. Is this gonna go up? Whoa, this is going up. 2,900, 3,000. Excellent. So if you use that policy, it's gonna increase your sales by a lot. This thing is still growing. Whoa, excellent. I'm gonna try something now. In these previous areas where I have lots of, well, not in that one actually, but in this one I do have a low density commercial. I'm going to go small business enthusiast. And let's see how far is this going to take the income. Growing, it's going up, it's going up. Still going up. Excellent. This is gonna increase my income a lot. These policies are great. This is fantastic. I should get a district here for this area here where I have the offices and commercial in this area and do the same thing for them. Alright, and this area, where is its name? Here it goes. Washington Hills, small business enthusiast. And let's see how much is this gonna go up now. It was at around 9,000 and a half before it started to grow. Let's see how far is it gonna go. It's now 11,000. Eleven and a half, almost gonna go 12. This is brilliant. I think this is even overpowered. It costs so little per building, yet it increases the taxes so much. 12,000. I think it's gonna level out here. Might not go over 13,000, but still, that was a 3,000 increase. For what? For 200 expense? That was excellent. How's their happiness? Stayed the same. Excellent. Alright, now I will be bringing in way more money. This is like 17,000 or so, 18,000 income. Excellent. I can even bring back some of the stuff that I reduced, like the trains, back to 100. This is everything at 100 already. What's going on here? Garbage piling up. Oh, I see. The incineration plant doesn't seem to be able to cut it. There is a lot of garbage coming from these areas. I was afraid of this. That is why I instituted the pet ban, because these areas can create so much garbage. I may even have to institute recycling, because the high density areas create so much garbage. Alright, I have more commercial areas in here, which I could make a new district for. And then of course use the big business benefactor. Excellent. That should even push my taxes further. Well, I do need to increase the amount of industry and the... this is so annoying that I cannot zone over here on these sides. I mean, I could do this, but they're probably gonna have exits where I don't want them to have the exits. So annoying that this happened because of the elevation in the terrain. I don't know, maybe they will have the exits and entrances onto these sides and not onto the highway. At least I can hope. And then I will just have more forestry industry on this side here. Have the roads there, have a new area, but I think I've pushed this video long enough. Thank you all for watching and see you again in the next episode.